Ladies and gentlemen, our next session is a panel discussion on strategic partnerships for cloud success while scaling. The rising complexity of today's cloud environments can catch your company off guard at a great cost. A strategic partner can help you prepare for these complexities by quickly identifying functions within an enterprise that would benefit from cloud, prepare the migration strategies, and help implement those strategies. For businesses to execute their cloud agendas, these partnerships are extremely important. Our speakers for this session are Sukanya P, Senior Vice President and Tech Area Lead, Group Digital Transformation, Swiss Re GBS; Manish Prasad, Vice President, Metal, Mining and Automotive Industry, SAP India Subcontinent; Radhika Ramesh, Executive Vice President, Global Delivery Center Head for CIS India Capgemini. Chairing the session is Ajay Prabhu, President, Technology Services, Quest Global. Dr. Ajay Prabhu was Quest Global's Chief Operating Officer until March 2020. As COO, Ajay led global delivery and operations. Ajay has been instrumental in conceptualizing and implementing the local global delivery platform, which powers Quest's solutions delivery to its customers worldwide. Ajay is also former chair for NASSCOM's ER&D Council. Pleasure to have you all join us this afternoon, and over to you, Ajay.
Thank you, Justin. So far, we have had some fantastic initial sessions. It was really great to hear Devjani, Nandan Nilekani, and Mr. Soni talk about the India digital platformization. And it's very, very exciting to see these great initiatives being taken and becoming successful. And, last year, it's been so important to just get this CoWIN addressed throughout the country with a highly scaled digital platform that really worked. It was great to hear Mr. Sharma, who is the chief architect of CoWIN, as well as Rahul talking about that platform. So it's such a great example. Of course, now let's say we can bring this conversation down to what's happening within each of the companies that are very rapidly adopting cloud. So I'm very, very happy to be leading this session. So cloud is extremely promising, and it promises to be something that will save a bunch of money for each of the corporate. And every time a corporate hears saving of money, then there is a lot of demand for some solutions like that. In addition, there is a lot of significant improvement in the availability as well as the response time and many such benefits. So cloud is something that I think is something that's going to have a huge amount of traction. So it's a great topic, of course, and it's exciting for the whole tech community to fall behind this new infrastructure that we have. But then, it's also somewhat of a mystery. It is kind of something that not everybody can figure out. Every IT function, every IT department, every person cannot figure out. So this is where I think we do need to bring in the expertise that are provided by service providers as well as the system integrators and other players in the ecosystem. So I'm looking forward to having a great conversation on this, along with my panelists here. So thank you for joining Sukanya. Sukanya is from Swiss Re. She is the Senior Vice President and Tech Area Lead in Global Digital Transformation for Swiss Re Global Business Solution Center in India. Sukanya is responsible for accelerating Swiss Re's competitiveness in market by excelling in core business capabilities, enabling transformation through R&D focused initiatives, innovation, as well as differentiation. She has 20+ years of tech experience in the software product industry as a solutions architect, product strategy, program management person. So it's great to have you here. She has also had an entrepreneurial stint, and so she will bring some unique perspectives. I'm looking forward to a good conversation with you, Sukanya. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Ajay.
So other panelist I have is Radhika Ramesh, Executive Vice President of Global Delivery Center, Head for Cloud and Infrastructure Service at India in Capgemini. So thank you, Radhika, for joining. Radhika has 27 years of experience in the technology sector with proven expertise in infrastructure consulting, IMS solution design, right shoring, automation. So prior to this, she was managing director at Accenture, for intelligent cloud and infrastructure services and responsible for global strategy, global strategic accounts, as well as quality assurance. So it's great to have you here, Radhika. Thank
Pleasure
you.
is mine. Looking forward to have a very, very interesting session today.
Thank you. So, and then Manish Prasad is the Vice President of Metal, Mining and Automotive Industry for SAP Indian subcontinent. Manish looks after sales, operations, growth initiatives, strategic partnership with customers in the Indian subcontinent. Career of 25 years, Manish has built and managed global and regional businesses in major geographies during his successful stints in Wipro, Accenture, Dell, IBM, Tata Steel. A lot of experience there. Manish, great to have you here. He's also been a very active participant in the industry, leading many of the industry working groups on sustainability as a future of business operating model. So great to have you here, Manish.
Thank you, Ajay, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Looking forward to this conversation.
All right, great. So let's get started. Obviously, the cloud is a word that we started hearing several years ago. And I remember one very interesting conversation with a customer of mine where we were talking about the cloud strategy and such. And the customer, who came from a very industrial type of organization, is not from a high-tech organization. And they have lots going on in their business, and so many things need to get done. And there is talk about cloud, but he was saying, hey, this cloud strategy is so foggy for me. I'm just not able to see clearly what this is all about, right? So this was maybe 5-6 years ago, not that long ago. So my first question for each one of you, do you think it is still foggy, or has it become crystal clear, like a nice blue sky yet for the industry? What's your opinion?
Well, I can take this. I can take this, Ajay. Thanks for this. And it's an interesting take that the cloud is indeed foggy, right? A few years ago, it was, because people were not really sure what is this whole infrastructure as a service or platform as a service. What happens to my data? Where does it stay? Is it safe? Is it secure? And I think from there, we have really come a long way. I wouldn't say it's fully crystal clear, but definitely there is light in the horizon.
Okay, Radhika, what do you think? Is it clear?
I would say that with all the bad news the pandemic brought in, Ajay, I think the pandemic also brought in a silver lining to the cloud, because it allowed a lot of our clients to experience how to, the benefits of cloud, how to fast track many things. So I think it just pushed us, and I would say that was the silver lining.
Yeah, so it is like flying from the foggy cloud into more of a clear blue sky in a jet speed, right? I agree completely with you that I think COVID really hastened a lot of the progress. So Manish, what is your take?
I'm a big proponent of cloud, Ajay. It could be some foggy days here and there, but sky is a limit out here, right? So I don't think it's one of the most important technology infusions that have come in. So extremely excited to be a part of this cloud journeys for our customers.
Yeah, great. Okay, so let's talk about, to realize a cloud strategy. I think cloud is something that is here to stay, and everybody is migrating, and more such things will happen. Why is it important from your perspective to have a good partner ecosystem for cloud strategy to be executed? And when you are creating that ecosystem, what are some of the things that you want to have in your consideration to form that strategy of the ecosystem as you get along on your cloud journey? So why is it important to have them, as well as how do you structure that ecosystem? So maybe I can have maybe Radhika take this.
Sure. So Ajay, what we were talking about, almost all the organizations plan to accelerate the IT spending on cloud computing, and that too in the next 12 months. The rapid pace of innovation in cloud infrastructure and platform services makes cloud the de facto platform for new digital services as well as the traditional workloads. So now we are all well aware that the pandemic has triggered a recalibration of cloud strategies and to enable a distributed and secure workforce, and thereby a positive urgency to move collaboration, mobility, and virtual desktops to the cloud. Again, disaster recovery and scale out applications that benefit from the elasticity of the clouds are now a high priority for cloud migration. Therefore, to formulate a cohesive cloud strategy that is expansive, forward looking, at the same time business outcome driven, it is imperative that we leverage on collective intelligence, Ajay, client, service integrator, and the hyperscalers. The ecosystem partners, they play a major role in helping clients modernize applications and migrate mission critical workloads to the cloud. So the right partner ecosystem will accelerate and scale the adoption. Therefore, I would say the key considerations would be technology and deep industry expertise of these partners who can provide a great level of scale, resources, and capabilities, partners who can modernize operations with mixed cloud native technologies and advanced solutions, partners with client estate and industry intimacy, along with hyperscalers who are willing to invest on business aligned innovation solutions. This would bring in a paradigm shift in the core business of the client and would be the key to a successful strategic partnership while cloud scaling.
Yeah, that's great. I think you really listed these considerations quite well. Thank you. So Manish, you want to add to that? What is from your experience? What are some of the considerations for creating that ecosystem?
Sure, Ajay. I think I'm just building on what Radhika just said. Look, at the end of the day, cloud and mobility are two very important technology innovations that have come in this digital age, right? And let's kind of focus on cloud. I think the cloud journeys for our customers are beyond system replacement programs, right? It's a transformation program where all facets of business, technology, change, design, data, migration strategies, and continuous delivery comes into play, right? And when you're looking at any transformation program, you need strategic partnerships to come in, right? Strategic partnership with respect to your advisory capabilities, which could be in-house, it could be outsourced. You need a very strong system integrator partner who will probably define and design the entire cloud journey for you. You need a lot of startup communities to come in. I think there's a lot of vibrancy and innovation that they bring in terms of building those cloud solutions, capabilities that can be a plug and play to the overall architecture. And then there's an element of change. I think, we all need to understand that, since it's a transformation subject, since business gets seamlessly impacted, there's elasticity, agility, time to market, deployment. I think there are a lot of change management and the IT operating models of our customers have to be considered. And hence, it's very important to kind of have those startups as well as change agents, both internally as well as externally, to be a part of this journey. And I think that's pretty much where it is. And then finally, how do you sustain that? Because you probably create a journey for yourself. How do you then sustain that? How do you grow that? How do you build in more and more capabilities for business? I think that's where strategic partnerships become extremely important, Ajay.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. So, Sukanya, you heard Radhika and Manish talk about the considerations, but earlier we were talking, you have already gone through some personal experience of creating this transformation within your own company. And during that time, what was your experience in terms of working with the ecosystem? What worked, what didn't work? What are the things that you believe are even more important maybe to consider through your real experience?
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. And these are great perspectives, right? For us with the Swiss Re, right, we already had a little bit of a cloud maturity, having already migrated to a private cloud platform most recently last year. So when we embarked on this journey on migrating to the Azure public cloud, we had this strategic partnership with Microsoft, and we look at it as a three-way approach, I would say. The first one I would say is like building the baseline capabilities. Because if every individual business unit, every department starts to identify its own platform, its own cloud provider, its own product, it's going to be impossible to manage. And we, being the financial services company, a lot of data security, privacy concerns, and compliance is extremely critical for us. So the first step, I would say, was to build the baseline capabilities with regards to the security, the compliance, and managing the entire digital governance framework. This is where our partnerships were very helpful to us. And the second step was actually working with the individual business units and identifying the applications for modernization. It's not that if you leave it on our own, not necessarily that every unit would know what to migrate to cloud and when, how to prioritize it, where do I get value, right? And where do I even get started? So this whole concept of classifying the application portfolio landscape, we have like 1,500 applications, right? So to identify which ones to be migrated, how do we prioritize it, how do we take it forward, was the second step, I would say. And the third one, and this is one of the most important ones, is the whole cloud learning journey, I would say. Because it's not as if you set some baselines, you identify applications, you move them to cloud, and then you're done with it, right? Because moving to cloud requires a paradigm shift in the way you work, the way you think, the way you scale, the way you deliver. So it requires a lot of upskilling, a lot of training, mindset changes. So that's the third dimension, I would say, that we had to consider. And while working in partnership also with Microsoft on the whole Azure journey that we underwent.
Yeah. And in that process, the partner was able to bring in the industry best practices and help through.
Absolutely. Absolutely, right? Because of the partnership, we could actually identify what are the standard products we could use, right?
Yes.
We could also identify, reusable components. We could have a standard role-based access controls. Those are very invaluable inputs, I would say.
Okay. All right. So, maybe one question is, anytime you have more than one organization working together, right? So maybe I'll ask this question to Manish, right? You are trying to put together this ecosystem, certain partner for certain customer to provide a cloud solution to maybe your customer. During that time, what are some of the dynamics, when you select a particular service provider, a set of service providers to work with? What works, what doesn't work, how to select these service providers and your SI partners or whoever is needed for that particular solution you are offering to the customer? What are some of the considerations? What are some of the learnings? What should we watch out for?
Ajay, I think it's a pretty wide canvas, as one would call, Ajay. If you kind of look at the cloud journeys, I think, as I said, there are these customers who are taking probably their entire business processes onto cloud, which are what I call as large transformation programs, right? I think there, if you ask us about the strategies and the execution model, it obviously starts in terms of defining business KPIs, looking at which applications to lift, which processes to simplify, which process to standardize, and then comes the technology layer below that, right? So you kind of look at those and then the governance to kind of manage that, right? And if you're talking about a lot of heterogeneous systems, a lot of legacy data, the entire data strategy also comes in there, right? So there's a complete different strategic initiatives or engagement models that needs to be done for large strategic cloud migration programs, the way you're kind of going and deploying your ERP platforms end to end, or it is in terms of taking an end-to-end supply chain process. So that's one element of it. The second element of it, which is what some of our customers are also doing, is in terms of take a probably, I would say, small steps, right? What I call as step changes or step transformation, where one would kind of look at a set of X number of applications and moving those workloads into cloud. There, I think the strategy is all about that you have the right set of capabilities. We all know we are in the, we have always been on a talent war, right? So which kind of cloud capabilities, which platforms one is talking about, what is the final outcome that one needs to drive? And again, I keep on saying this, I think the role of startup community out here plays a very, very significant role, because, one of the things that we are trying to accomplish is agility, right? So if agility, speed, time to market, and innovation needs to happen. I think the role of startups become very interesting in the context of the cloud journeys for our customers, right? So to sum it up, Ajay, I talked about governance, change, partnerships, understanding of business, bring in startups as a part of the broader ecosystem, and then obviously you need a large hyperscaler or you need a large cloud service provider along with an SI, and I think that probably brings in an end-to-end story for our customers.
Yeah. What about from a customer perspective, when you present a set of partners with you, what has been your experience from a customer kind of agreeing or having some opinion about it, or how does it work? What is the typical experience?
I think Ajay, the first and the foremost question is that what is the skin in the game, right? I think at the end of the day, as I said, these are transformation capabilities, right? So the first thing that our customers look at is what is the skin in the game. Are they willing to kind of go and be the entire journey? And it goes beyond commercial modeling. I don't think commercial models are there. No relationship works without both the parties or multiple parties being successful. But the fact remains that we will come. It's a piece of technology, right? At the end of the day, which we are trying to make it work, right? So when various parties come together, collaborate, show that commitment, bring in that capability to deliver an outcome, I think that's the most important thing that our customers are looking for.
Right. Okay, that's good. So Radhika, one important question is, as there are tons and tons of companies, everybody needs to migrate to cloud, and each one has been in some business, anybody from maybe shipbuilding from 1,000 years ago to some of the high-tech companies that just popped last year. Everybody wants to be on the cloud. How important is it for you as somebody who will guide them through the whole process of getting into the cloud, for you as an organization to know everybody's business? Or is it like it's none of your business? You have to know their business. You have to know their domain. How do you manage that?
I think to take on from what Manish spoke about, I think if you summate that, it's what he spoke about is collective intelligence. So it's thorough understanding of the customer domain and customer needs and challenges is very pivotal. This is where such partners bring value to the table, Ajay. Deep industry knowledge, customer tribal knowledge, and partnership with hyperscalers and allied partners. This is the key. When you're talking about partners and end customers, they can work on joint solutions or go-to-market strategies like industry cloud, where hyperscalers can bring in the infrastructure and services, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, cloud as a service, the service integrator like Capgemini being an industry knowledge, use cases and scale resources to scale to the dynamic demands of implementation. That's the key. There are multiple case studies which has provide proof that the strategic partnership has played an important role. For example, SAP on cloud. This is a triage between SAP, hyperscalers, and service integrators. Again, hyperscalers and SAP has the infrastructure and services to scale on cloud. SI complement with industry knowledge. Then you have the capability to scale talent and automation on the cloud. So client-aligned partners would be able to bring in the right balance of benefits, be it on cost saving, solutions to capacity problems, or better handling of workload imbalance or volatility.
Okay, great. So how much effort goes into educating the client, depending on whether they are from a certain domain or another domain? I can imagine there are certain clients who are extremely familiar. They just need somebody to help them because they are busy doing their work in their core business. Whereas there could be somebody who just still think cloud is all foggy and they need you to come in. And so it might be a big cultural change for the people. So how much do you help customers through that process of change that Sukanya talked about earlier?
So Ajay, it is the relationship which is there with the client. It is very important to know your client first, because that becomes the foundation for the entire relationship is knowing the client. And once you know the client and the client infra estate, then you know how you can actually work with them in bringing about a solution, be it in cloud or any of their digital transformation. So that is the key, and that is what we all work towards. And that, I think, is the USP we as service integrators bring onto the table.
Right. Yeah, very good. Fantastic. So, Sukanya, you talked about you had a lot of cloud expertise already within the organization because you had a private cloud. And then recently now you have started a migration or migrated to the public cloud, right? So that's an interesting topic for me. So maybe you all can pitch in a little bit for this, but specifically to Sukanya, what was the reason for going from private to public cloud? What are the pros and cons? And how did you decide this is the right thing to do?
Yeah, no, that's an interesting take, Ajay. To begin with, right, our private cloud journey began quite a few years ago. So initially, we were exposed to cloud through SaaS products. So we migrated to, say, SAP SuccessFactors. We were one of the first ones when the whole concept of SaaS was still pretty young, I would say. We started using these solutions for our entire HRMS. And then we realized there is value in using private cloud because you have the pay per use. You can build infrastructure as code. You don't need to keep your own infrastructure, continuously pay for it. You can use platform services from the provider. But initially, when we were in private cloud, it was more of a lift and shift from our on-premise, if I can say that, just move our workload as is to private cloud because they don't give you any additional benefits or any other technology or services or landscape. And it was as of last year, first quarter, that we realized that most of the innovation, like what Radhika was mentioning, is actually happening in the cloud. Right? Because the services that are getting offered today in cloud are unparalleled. And if we have to sit back and try to invent all these technologies and solutions for ourselves in the private cloud, we're basically reinventing the wheel. We're wasting a lot of precious time, and we will never be able to match up with where the industry is heading. So we realized that the right thing to do was for us to move from the private cloud to the public cloud. And as part of this process, we decided, we made a conscious choice that we will not do lift and shift anymore. As what Radhika and Manish were mentioning, it's more about business re-engineering, basically looking at the entire business architecture, simplifying our architecture, trying to create a common vocabulary that we can use across the business domains. And that is where the entire migration helps us bridge this gap between the whole strategy and the execution part of it.
Okay. All right. So Radhika and Manish, what is your pitch when you go to customer and say, hey, it's time to go to public cloud? They have X number of concerns about going into public cloud and whether it is data security or whatever else. Like, how do you talk to them? What are the main reasons somebody should go to public cloud?
If I may go, Ajay, out here, look, at the end of the day, in our view, both of them may coexist, right? I think it is completely on the choice of our customers, their security parameters, their change related issues, the complexity of their business. Look, at the end of the day, public cloud probably brings a little more standardization, innovation, co-innovation that the organization brings in based on scale and probably cross-industry experiences that any SaaS service provider would probably provide. But if you look at any business, I think there are some uniqueness that every business has, which we call as differentiated process areas, which is about 15-20%. Now, if that 15-20% is quite complex, then they would probably like to keep it, as a part of their private cloud, right? Simply because that's where they think that's their differentiation. Whereas if you look at mass, right? I mean, SMEs, right? Even mid-market, enterprise, there are certain functions which are more horizontal in nature, even from a vertical standpoint, right? If they want to use the economies of scale and create standardization, I think that's when the choice of public cloud also comes in, right? So I don't think there's a preference to that. SAP has probably all the flavors simply because we cater to every segment of the market. But Ajay, to answer your question, I think both of them are going to coexist. depending upon the size of the enterprise and their convenience, they can probably choose one of them and then gravitate towards the other as the case may be.
Yeah, Radhika, anything to add from your side?
Yeah, I think I see this more as, whether you go into public cloud or private cloud or hybrid or whatever it is I see it more as a journey. So, this is the way, which are the stops or the various route you take, but then the ultimate digital transformation which will happen will take you to cloud. So you might take different paths, but then ultimately it will come to one God, which is cloud-based solutions.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So maybe an interesting another topic, right? So we are talking about ecosystem. We talked about basically service providers, SIs, and products and startups. But nowadays, especially after COVID, I hear a lot about gig workers and talent. Do you consider even the talent in cloud as your part of the ecosystem, service providers, maybe gig talent? What's going on in terms of getting the right talent for cloud migration type of execution? So Manish, you have some experience, and this is definitely, there are a couple of additional sessions that are happening right after us focused on talent. Maybe you can just give something for those guys to carry on in that conversation. But so in brief, what's going on with the talent?
Look, Ajay, there will always be a talent war as far as, I would call it war. I think there would always be a talent constraint. And that's a global phenomenon, right? But I think what is more interesting and, is the way, starting from schools. I mean, if you go to schools and you will find people started coding, low code, no code, right? So I think from that point itself, there's a lot which is being done by the government, by organizations like NASSCOM, private institutions, public institutions. I think there's a lot which is going on in terms of creating the right kind of talent, right? It'll obviously see its levels of execution and evolution, plus the large amount of startup community which is coming in. Ajay, I think we have all the right pieces. It's just that we will always have a little bit of a demand supply issue. But overall, talent, while there will be a constraint of talent, I think the philosophies and the models are in place to make sure that we provide the necessary talent to the market and the economy at large.
Okay, great. So Sukanya, anything you want to add for 30 seconds? We are going to wrap up soon.
Yeah, sure. So I think cloud, like I was talking about, right? That's the most important parameter to have the right talent for cloud migration. So we work again in partnership with Microsoft. We use the enterprise skills initiatives to upskill our people, right? We do a lot of gamification of the cloud learning, provide curated learning paths. So it's a conscious effort. We're building a community around cloud. We call it the Cloud COE. And, we extensively kind of try to upskill and cross-skill people. We know that's not enough. We still depend on SI partners for the skills, the talents. But this is also an initiative we've taken up from within.
Okay, Radhika, your few thoughts.
Yeah, Sukanya just outlined many of the enterprises have started in the cloud with VM, then they move to the cloud. We call it the infra on a cloud era, and then move into the transformation cloud era, where transformation is embedded throughout the enterprise. So Ajay, I would say that this is the best time, for the clients, because both service integrators as well as hyperscalers are very much inclined to accelerate this journey. What with many even have allocated a significant portion of their innovation budget to innovate with the client. So I think this is the best time for enterprises to embark and get to the transformation journey. So this is the best time for everyone.
Radhika, I think you helped me a lot by actually taking the slot to summarize what you were saying. So can I have a summary from Sukanya? What do you think about cloud? Okay, there's a huge opportunity. There's lots going on. What is your concluding statement? 1 minute.
I think like what Radhika said, the destination is going to be cloud for all of us. The sooner we understand that, I think it's the better for us. because with all this work from home and other things, it's kind of accelerated the pace, I would say, of migrating to cloud. So it's not an option not to be on the cloud, but we also have to be careful. We have to take baby steps. We have to have a standardization. We have to have a central unit which kind of looks after what you migrate, how you migrate, and working together with strategic partners, be it cloud providers or MSPs, who can walk us through this, is always the best way to take it forward, I would say.
Okay, Manish, your concluding remark, please.
I think, as I said, Ajay, right from the beginning, the sky's the limit. You talked about silver lining. Radhika talked about silver linings. You talked about foggy days. I think this is the journey. It's a business initiative. It will continue to excel, and we'll see more and more inventions coming out here.
Okay, great. So it was really a fun and pleasure to talk with you all and gain from your experience. I'm sure the audience really loved your perspective. So it's very clear cloud is here to stay, and it's going to get more and more clear and present everywhere. And of course, things are changing a lot. So it is a teamwork based approach. So you want to get the best of the talent wherever it's available, and that comes in the form of strategic relationships you would create with the different service providers. And I'm also glad to see that there's significant optimism from all of you in terms of making talent available for this journey from India. India, of course, is a huge base of talent, and so it should be able to support this journey for you to support all the customers out there. So it's a very, very positive note. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you and the audience. So here I am giving back to Justin. Justin, please take it away. Thank you.
A lot of insightful takeaways there. Thank you, Ajay, and our speakers for that informative and engaging session.